Ayahuasca has thousands of years of tradition of being used as a medicine. From the indigenous perspective, a medicine is anything that helps you to feel better. This includes spiritual, emotional, and mental health in addition to physical health. And Western medicine is only just beginning to understand this. There are some incredible new studies coming out showing huge benefits for mental health and quality of life. And in this video, I'll walk you through what those benefits are and what the latest research says. Before we dive in though, take a second to subscribe to this channel. We have a ton of amazing content coming out, and this is the easiest way to stay informed about the third wave of psychedelics. There are literally tens of thousands of stories from people around the world who have drank ayahuasca and said that it helped to improve their mental health, relieve their depression and anxiety, heal childhood trauma, balance their current day emotions, forgive past wounds, healing physical ailments like autoimmune issues, providing them with more energy, connecting them to a deeper sense of meaning and purpose, and generally feeling more whole and alive. In fact, my own story tracks with the reports mentioned above. I've had the honor of working with ayahuasca more than a dozen times, and she has helped me to do a significant amount of shadow work, clearing out repressed emotions and memories and creating more balance in my everyday life. And I'm going to come back to my story because it'll be great as a way to cap this. But stories are just stories. It's hard to change laws or reschedule plant medicines just on stories. Thankfully, though, there's enough anecdotes now that researchers are paying close attention to what ayahuasca can do for mental health. One study from the Netherlands looked at participants who went to ayahuasca retreats or ceremonies. This is a great study because it's looking at the effects inside the appropriate set and setting. A lot of research studies out there are giving psychedelics to participants in sterile clinical environments like a hospital. And I don't know about you, but my experience with hospitals is not so great. It's a really difficult environment to have a transformational healing experience or a conversation with a higher power. And so that's what we love about this, is it's naturalistic. So let's look at the results. Dutch researchers studied 377 participants. 99.8% reported being very positively affected by ayahuasca. Psychologically, 98.7% of participants reported greater happiness, optimism, self-acceptance, confidence, empathy, and feeling more peaceful and calm. 64% reported physical benefits like higher energy levels, greater physical relaxation, better pain management, improved gastrointestinal health, reduced or halted substance use, and being more in tune with their body. Only 8.5% reported adverse effects such as anxiety attacks, fainting, or difficulty on the journey. These are phenomenal results that back up everything people have been saying for years, but these aren't the only results. There's another research study that came out in 2021 that did a longitudinal cross-sectional study of over 11,000 participants with ayahuasca. And in that study, it showed that 78% of people who worked with ayahuasca felt some sort of relief and healing from their depression. And over 70% of people who worked with ayahuasca felt some sort of relief or healing around their anxiety. So more than 2/3 of people in this study of over 11,000 people felt some sort of tangible benefit for either depression or anxiety. So the third research study to be aware of is in Brazil. They gave ayahuasca to prisoners to see how it could help with the recidivism rate. And so their hypothesis was ayahuasca can be a great teacher. It can help with forgiveness. It can help with moving past this wounding, the reason that prisoners are in jail, and that by having that intense healing spiritual experience with ayahuasca, it would reduce the percentage of people who actually continue to commit crimes. And what they found in that research is it significantly helped to reduce recidivism rates, which essentially means that ayahuasca, when given to prisoners, can actually help that rehabilitation process so they can become contributing members of society again. The final research study that's really interesting is the relationship between ayahuasca and neurogenesis. And so out of the Beckley Foundation, and this research was carried out in Spain, researcher Jordi Riba found that ayahuasca in vitro could help with neurogenesis, could help to grow new brain cells. And so underlying all of these things in terms of people having positive experiences with ayahuasca for mental health is that capacity for DMT, dimethyltryptamine, the psychoactive ingredient in ayahuasca. DMT is a potent neurogenesis facilitator and catalyst. And so when we work with ayahuasca, we're helping the brain to create new neuronal connections. We're facilitating a process called dendritic sprouting. And that is, from a neurological perspective, a huge reason why ayahuasca is so helpful at treating depression, at treating addiction, at helping us to get out of that rut and form new connections and new behaviors. And again, this is my experience with ayahuasca. From 2017 until the end of 2019, over about a 2-year period, I worked with ayahuasca 15 times. And in those experiences, I had a lot of purging. I had a lot of repressed emotion as a man that was able to finally come to the surface and to be released and to be integrated. Ayahuasca allowed me to get a lot more in touch with my entire body. I tend to be quite intellectual, and ayahuasca just helped me to be present, more still, and more emotional and feeling. The thing about ayahuasca is that it's a great teacher for the shadow work, for bringing a light into the parts of ourselves, the subconscious and the unconscious parts of ourselves that we normally repress. And because it's such a potent medicine to do that, it allows for phenomenal growth through that process. So we looked at the research from the Netherlands. We looked at the cross-study and sectional research of 11,000 participants. We talked about recidivism rates in ayahuasca. And finally, we mentioned how ayahuasca can help to facilitate neurogenesis. All of that being said, this is a potent plant medicine that has phenomenal benefits for mental health. And if you're interested in working with ayahuasca, make sure you do so with a trained, qualified, and skilled practitioner. And if you need help finding a retreat that you can trust, go to our directory at the Third Wave, and it will help facilitate that process of connection for you so you can be with someone that you can trust and can help with that mental health journey that you're currently on. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date on the third wave of psychedelics, subscribe to this channel and visit thethirdwave.co, where you'll find plenty of free resources on the intentional and responsible use of psychedelic medicine.